Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Anchor Snake here. Hope y'all are doing great today. Well, this is going to be my review for this new Railen. Just came out with 4.8.2. Man, look at this thing. It sort of reminds me of those flying dinosaurs, those pterosaurs. It just looks like a pterosaur with like disco pants on. Look at that thing. Anyway, y'all, let's dive in and see what this thing's all about. Thanks for watching. I would typically say we're going to start on the nose, but this thing doesn't really have a nose. It's it kind of reminds me of like a gorilla. It's funky looking. We're going to start. This is the front. This is the front. There's the cockpit up there, but it's got these leg engine thingies because the engines are on the back side of these things here, these arms. The engines are on the back side of that, kind of like up in here. Okay, and then I don't know, they're using some kind of crazy alien technology. There's no shock absorbers. There's like, maybe they're like souped up magnets with the poles pointed in the wrong direction or something. I don't know how they're doing it, but right here we have, it looks like a refuel port. That's what that looks like to me. And then over here on the other side is the button that sends down the elevator to get in this rascal. Took me a minute to find it. And there it is right there. And that's the elevator. And we'll come back around to that in just a second, but we'll make our way around. This thing's got size 4, I think, Galderine repeaters. There's 4 of them that the pilot can control. And then there's a turret on the here on the port side and a turret on the starboard side. It has 2 each. So this thing packs a wallop. If you can get these, now these are not slave. These will not, you know, they don't slave to the pilot. But if you can get 2 more folks in, this thing can dish out some pain. Here's the other leg looking thing. It looks like pink zebra stripes on this. I mean, look at it. I mean, it looks very interesting. Quite the color contrasts here. Right here is 2 tractor beams. There's one here and there's one over on the starboard side right over there. But these are also engines right here. Okay, so up here is where is all the cargo mounts on the exterior. So you can put 2 32s right here, 1 and 2. And then you can put 4 right here. You can put 4 more right here. Then you can put 8 32s right here in this area right here. And then you can put 2 more 32s right here. Doop, doop. That works out to 20 size 32 containers you can put on this thing. But this is and then when there's a button you can press on the pilot's chair that will actually move these little panel thingies. It doesn't completely enclose it, but it gives it off, you know, makes it like it's got some type of protection to it. Way up here is the port entry, something port lock or something like right there. We'll look at that later. But making our way over around to the starboard side, it's just cookie cutter. There's nothing really else different about it that I've been able to discern. It's very flashy. It's got some type of nacelle, engine nacelle looking doodad here on the bottom, and there's conversely there's one over on the top. Some other type of nacelle, and there's nothing exterior that I could find. No other buttons or anything else other than the 2 that I showed you on this entire ship. So obviously to get inside the ship, we're going to go up here and they're going to press this button. Now the cool thing is when we press this button, This bar is going to go down to here, but this guy is going to move. This rail is going to come up and it's going to move to my left, and it's going to end up like right over here somewhere. So watch this. Kind of neat. As we're coming up, see how it goes. And it ends up right there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So this button opens and closes that door, exterior door. This will make, when we get ready to leave, we'll press that button. This button will send and call this elevator in and out. Okay. And right over here is a light switch. So it looks like it's kind of in a standby mode, maybe. If I press this one, there's one that turns it orange. Let's try that one. Okay. Okay, there we go. There's the lights. All right, so it looks like we have like a suit lockers, weapons lockers, holder of weapons. If I hit I, there's no storage or anything like that. This looks like it's a suit locker. Same thing over here. There's another suit, another weapons storage. Doodad. It's pretty cool. Okay. Maybe in 4.9 these will actually work. Then right up here, if we get on this little trolley, we're currently on this deck. We're gonna go to the habitation deck, which is the second deck as hab, and it's really nice. So here's the habitation deck, and let's see if I can find the light switch for it. So here we go. There we go. There's the lights. All right. So we'll start back here. This is the this is berthing, where the beds are at. Look at this. That looks like some kind of space weed. That's what it looks like. Okay. Each one of these beds has a little bit of built-in storage. So one SCU, not bad. So you got like 4 SCU of built-in storage back here, which is pretty cool. And you got four bunks, whatever you want to call it. All right, and then we'll work our way forward. So this over here is the turret, one of the turrets. Okay. Here we go. And they do fire forward, so pretty cool. Okay. And there's one on the starboard side that looks just like it. So right here, guys, I don't know if maybe there's something. So they look like some kind of escape pod or something. I'm not really sure. They really don't do anything, but to me they look like escape pods. Right here is some type of future component. I don't know. But over here on the starboard side is a carbon copy of this room. Exactly the same. See what I mean? Same area. There's nothing in it. There you go. Same pods. Okay. All right, so here is the habitation area. Now look at this. Look how beautiful this is. They've got some type of food stuff, alien floating food dispensers of some sort or another, but it looks like water, but then it looks like water stone or something. Here's the protein dispensers or whatever it is they eat. I don't know. pretty cool looking. The only thing I don't see a coffee pot. Oh, maybe that's a coffee. I don't know. You gotta have coffee. You got a place to sit. And even the chairs are floaty. And over here, look at this. It's like a fish tank or some sort. Pretty cool. And then, here's the heads. So it looks like we have a urinal / place to wash your hands. I don't know. And then they have a place. Let's see, a place to do your business. Even the door thingy's weird looking. All right. Maybe the starfish and fish eat the poop. I don't know. Maybe that's what they get fed. I don't know. It would be smart, I guess. Let's see. There's another one. This doesn't really do anything. It'd be cool if it did. Like if it had something going on with it, but it doesn't. That's, folks, that is habitation. We'll go up to I'm gonna go up to the flight deck here. Let's see, there is components everywhere. Let's see if we can find the light switch. It's not that one. Here we go. Is it this one? No. Where's the stupid light switch? Here it is. Okay. Hit that one. Then we're going to hit this one. There we go. Here come the lights. Cool. So we have a quantum drive and an engineering terminal. Okay. Power plant. Radar dish and a fuse panel. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Not a radar dish, but a radar wave generator. See, it looks like live support and another fuse panel. And they got two shield generators. And an open slot for something in the future. Okay, and then back here we have a kind of almost carbon copy of where we came in at. It looks like future suit lockers, and these are shut. These don't open. They are turned off, but right here is a switch. It looks like a docking collar, docking port, right? That's what it looks like to me. Yeah. Very, very nice. Okay. And then moving forward to the flight station is what we would call an NSC 130. We have over here, we have cooler over here. All right. And a cooler over here. Very cool. And up here we have tractor beam operator, pilot, and co-pilot seat. Let's get into the pilot seat and I'll show you that. All of the pips it's standard fare, really. There's nothing really much to speak about other than there is a switch that we need to be mindful of. We'll go ahead and turn the power on.
Systems activating. Systems on.
Okay, let's see, engines.
Engines on.
Okay, so down here is a cargo button. Let me show you what that does. See, that's what opens and closes that little cover for our cargo, sort of, kind of. When we want to actually load cargo, what we're going to want to do is make sure that that's open, okay? And that's it opening. Very cool. Yep, that makes it really easy to load. Okay, cool beans. Then we have, let's see, doors, landing gear, headlights, exit, hail button, which is kind of neat. Power, radar doesn't do the engines on, weapons, shields, self-destruct. Like I said, the pips are pretty much standard fare. There's nothing fancy about none of this. And that is it for the pilot. Co-pilot's pretty much the same thing. So if I get out of the pilot seat, I'm gonna come over here. Seems like it's a long time for it to do its thing. Same exact stuff. Nothing really to speak of. Let's see. Let's get out of that, and I'll show you one of the tractor beam seats, so you can see that. We'll get into port side. Starboard is carbon copy, so. And it's going to raise up and go forward just like the other ones. I think it ends up above the pilot where the pilot would be. Up even higher, but it faces forward. And in this situation, what we're going to do is we're going to go, power is already on. We'll just enter the turret, and here we go. Here is the tractor beam. That's it. Cool. Hit escape or hit Y. I'll get out of the chair. And that, folks, is basically it for the Railen on the interior. There's not really much more to it. It's fancy in here for sure. If you walk off of this, you'll end up a level down. So just be mindful of that. We do have a fire extinguisher, that kind of thing. So, but that, folks, is the Railen. This is how you get out, and you're just going to keep going aft. I'm going to hit this button and watch it'll spin. Boop, it'll spin all the way around to here. It's kind of neat. So I'm just going to hit it as we go down. Watch it. It'll end up right there. Pretty cool. It's really neat, man. There you go. All right, guys, here we are on Ship's Performance Viewer, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a look. I'm going to take a look at the components and how you can set this up. Out of the box, man, this thing has industrial grade C components pretty much all the way down, okay? And here's a look at your pips. You've got a lot of demand, but not a lot of pips. So immediately you're going to have to start shedding to get under this, to get everything balanced, right? So you're going to be dropping these pips offline. Now, here's the thing, guys. Are you planning on running solo, or are you going to run with buddies? Because depending upon that, that's how you need to set your ship up. And I'll give you an example. So out of the box, man, if all of the guns on the pilot side right here are fully powered, your DPS gimbaled, if you fly gimbaled, is 2781, right? If you fly them locked, that's how I fly, it's 3272. You don't have the pips to do it anyway. So here's a solution for you. If you're going to run solo, this is what I would do. Now this is just with the Chimera. We need to put this back on. Okay, so what I would do is I would come in and I would turn off or take the weapons out of your turrets, your side turrets, okay? And then what I would do is I would turn off one of your coolers, or just take it off the ship. And now what you're left with, you have enough pips, and with one, and if you adjust your pips just like this, now you're fully powered. Now your guns are fully powered if you need them to be. And you got both your shields are powered, so you'll have 140,000 hit points of shield bubble, right? And if you need to, you can drop off 2 pips and give them to your shields. But you just have to be careful because you'll be right there on the verge of being over too hot. But right there, man, you're balanced. So that's something you can do. And the Chimera is going to set you back about 168k. Here's a really cool loadout. Again, if you're going to run solo, I like these Nargun shield generators. They're just civilian grade A. I like the fact that, look, they only have 2 minimum powers too. I like that. So let's put that back on. There we go. And then I took off one of the thermal cores and put a chill max in. I put on the Agrippa civilian grade A radar, and I put on a Durango power plant with the Chimera and the Excelsior. And this thing, oh, and the guns. So the guns are 2 Revenant Gatling guns and 2 deadbolt cannons. So I only need 1 pip. I only need 1 pip to power my weapons. Everything else is powered, maxed out. If I want them to be. Not that you would probably fly around that way, but look, shield bubble 200,000. Look at my DPS, 4809. And if I go to gimbaled, it's 4,000. That doesn't suck. So if I take, if I start stripping off pips, look how much I've got to play with if I need it. So there you go. I like this. Now this is going to set you back. So look, let's see here. The NAR guns are 240,000 a piece. The chill max is 45,000. Whew. Yeah, it's going to be an expensive loadout for sure. The Durango is almost $1 million. But if this is going to be your daily driver and you want to pimp it out, man, there you go. The gun setup alone is the 370,000. So you're going to be about 3 mil into setting this up. This right here is a great cheap option right here. Just get the Chimera. Just put that on there, drop off the thermal core, and turn off these two turrets. Just turn them off, and off you go, man. You're set. So let's take a look at the next thing we're going to look at is I'm going to look at this spreadsheet here. All right, guys, here is a comparison chart that I did. And I just want to show you how the Railen kind of stacks up against some of these other haulers or that you're probably familiar with. All in all, the Railen is fairly fast as compared to some of these other ones. It's holding it's just below what the Hermes can do. It's faster than the Hull B, which is kind of neat, man. As far as like how it handles in flight, it handles great. I have nothing negative to say about it. It's exactly what I would expect it to be. When you fly the C2 handles really well. Very similar in feel to me. The DPS of it, 2781. Now this is gimbaled. This would be as long as the guns were fully powered. This is where it would be at. Do some upgrades, you can get this thing up over 4,000 with some Revenant cannons and some deadbolts. But armor just below 12k. It's all right. Shield bubble standard. What the standard shields is 144 if fully powered. Just keep that in mind. The one oddity about this ship, the numbers is the total health hit points is the least of this bunch. Very odd considering how much mass this thing has. Maybe they've got this thing made out of some kind of, who knows, some kind of composite material. It's just not quite as stout as regular metal or whatever they would be making these things out of. All in all, hydrogen fuel 140. You don't have to worry about it, man. You can get anywhere you need to go. 640, pretty doggone good. It is a really nice ship to run cargo in. Now, just the one thing that I will say though, is right now in the current state of the game, 32s are difficult, especially the square ones are difficult to load with a max lift tractor beam. It's hard to raise them things up to that, to this back end, whereas the 32s and a whole B, they just go right on. So just keep that in mind. So you might want to run 16s. 16s load like a dream. Boom, 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 and you're done. You're not fussing and fighting with them. Just keep that in mind. So all in all, it's a really, really neat ship. There you go. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to take this thing out, and we are going to go move some cargo around, do some cargo missions, and see how that goes. And I did go buy some commodities with some 32s, and I'll show you what I mean as far as like difficulty in loading it and stuff like that. That's been my experience, but we'll go check that out right now. All right, guys, I'm not going to ask you to try to watch me load a bunch of, cargo containers. At least not all of them. It's like, well, that's about as much fun as watching paint dry. So just going to show you real quickly. The 16s, man, they go right on, and you can put them on any direction you want to. Well, you can't put them on diagonal, but all in all, it's no fuss, man. They just go right up. No big deal. The only obvious drawback is, if you wanted to load this thing all the way up at 16s, that's 40 of them versus 20 of the 32s. So really simple to load, as long as you know how to do it. They definitely would go a lot faster if you had friends. So, if you had a buddy, you can make short work of it. Now, unloading is a joy because you got, this semi-gravity to help you along. They just fall right off, man, and off you go. So simple, so easy to unload, which is obviously the biggest selling point of this ship. The same way with the whole B. It's just so quick and easy to get in and get out. This is a big ship, so I want to show you this. These are the square 32s, and I'm going to struggle with these things forevermore to try to get these things on. It's not a Railen problem for the most part. What it is, it's a cargo problem. These things are super. I don't know if they've added like a lot of extra weight to them or something, but they're difficult to move, and that difficulty in movement coupled with the height of this Railen, it's just it is a struggle. Now, if you have a buddy, if you get on the ship's internal tractor beam, it'll put them right on. But with the max lift and you being solo, I had to fight with it. That was my experience. So just wanted to show you that. See, I just cannot get it. I'm going to town on my mouse wheel, and I cannot get that thing to raise up. And look, here is the round containers, and they just go right on. No big deal. They don't weigh as much as the square ones do, so just keep that in mind. If if you're going to get 32s, I would probably go with 16s if you're getting the square stuff like the astatine and stuff like that. But there you go. That's cargo. All right, guys, final thoughts of the Gatac Railen. I'm not particularly a fan of the alien ships and the alien designs from an artistic point of view. The fit and finish is immaculate as always, and the habitation area of this ship is something to behold. It is beautiful. So that part alone is pretty cool. It is an interesting ship. I'm not a fan of the Halo Forerunner floaty panel things. I just don't particularly care for that. The whole idea that I have to, take several elevators to make it all the way to the flight station to handle my primary business of flying the ship is kind of painful. I'm not a fan of that. I would have rather seen a direct lift to the flight station. All in all, when it comes to basic flight and moving cargo, this thing's fantastic. It's got a very small footprint for such a gigantic ship, which makes it easy to maneuver inside your hangar and get it positioned where it needs to be to facilitate the loading and offloading of cargo, which is its primary business, and it does it very well. The fact that I can take straight off from any position just about inside the hangar, as long as I'm inside the grid, is pretty cool as well. As far as the cargo grid is concerned, it's pretty nice. It really is. It makes it really easy to load and unload at least size 16s and 24s. Their 32s seem to struggle from my experience using the max lift tractor beam, particularly the square containers, like the ones you would find with like metals and acetines and stuff like that. I don't necessarily believe that that has anything to do with the Railen. It's just the state of the game and how the game is. It's just a cargo problem, but it is difficult to load from my experience. Now the round ones, like say like medical supplies or waste, those were fairly easy to move. But in those situations, if you're going to move 32s, you would probably want to use your built-in tractor beam if you can. I'm not saying it's impossible to move. I'm just saying it's not as easy to move as size 16s. Now, again, if you're going to move 640 SCU of size 16s, that's a lot of crates you're going to be moving versus just moving 20 32s. That was my experience. Maybe that'll get better, and hopefully that it does. I just think it's just that the height that you're trying to lift them up to is the issue. So hopefully they'll resolve that. I might go and make an issue council report on that. But all in all, it's a fine ship for what it isn't designed to do, and it does that very well. So I had a lot of fun taking the ship out and looking at it and flying it. It does fly very well, by the way. There you go, guys. If the video wasn't complete trash, please consider giving me a thumbs up if you think I deserve it. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, and I certainly hope you do, please consider hitting that subscribe button over my left shoulder. As always, y'all, thank you so much for watching. If you stuck it all the way out to the end, I really do appreciate it. I hope y'all have a great day, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. You ready, Anchor? And salute. Ready, 2. Bye, guys.